That little colorful pod sitting in your laundry room looks like candy. It smells like a chemical approximation of lavender filtered through a petroleum refinery. And every time you toss one into your washing machine, you're coating your clothes in a cocktail of endocrine disruptors, probable carcinogens, and synthetic fragrances that will press against your skin for the next 12 hours. Since 2012, poison control centers in the United States have received over 17,000 reports of young children being poisoned by laundry pods. Kids bite into them because they look delicious. They've caused seizures, respiratory failure, comas, at least one death. And that's just the acute exposure, the immediate, dramatic poisoning that sends families to emergency rooms. The slow poisoning is quieter. It happens every time you wear clothes washed in conventional detergent, every time those synthetic musks and phthalates absorb through your skin, every time you inhale the volatile organic compounds off-gassing from your fresh laundry. But here's what the detergent industry doesn't want you to know. For centuries, people cleaned their clothes without any of this. Victorian households before the chemical revolution used plants that grew on the sides of their houses to produce perfectly clean laundry. The plant was English ivy, the same invasive vine crawling up your neighbor's fence right now. And it works because of the exact same chemistry that makes commercial detergent work, minus the carcinogens, the hormone disruptors, and the $60 billion industry markup. Let's dissect what you're actually putting on your clothes. Commercial laundry detergents all rely on surfactants to clean. Surfactants are molecules with a split personality. One end loves water, the other end loves oil. In your washing machine, they grab onto grease and dirt, suspend it in water, and carry it away. That's the actual cleaning mechanism. Everything else in that pod is either marketing or poison. The most common surfactants are sodium lauryl sulfate and sodium laurette sulfate, the same industrial degreasers found in engine cleaners. They work, but they work too aggressively, stripping natural oils from fabric and leaving residues that irritate skin. Then there's the fragrance. That single word on the ingredient list is a legal loophole. Manufacturers can hide dozens of chemicals under that term, protected as trade secrets. Studies from the University of Washington found that scented laundry products emit nearly 100 volatile organic compounds, many classified as toxic or hazardous under federal law. Not one was listed on the product label. Among the hidden ingredients are phthalates, plasticizers that make scents last longer. Phthalates are endocrine disruptors. They interfere with testosterone, estrogen, and thyroid function. They've been linked to reproductive problems, developmental issues in children, and increased rates of asthma. And they're in almost every mainstream detergent that advertises a lingering fresh scent. Then there's 1,4-dioxane. This one is particularly insidious because it's not an ingredient, it's a byproduct. When manufacturers create certain surfactants, 1,4-dioxane forms as contamination. The EPA classifies it as a probable human carcinogen. It causes tumors in laboratory animals. It persists in the environment. And because it's a byproduct, it never appears on labels. New York State banned laundry detergents containing it in 2022. The rest of the country has not. Your detergent almost certainly contains it. The synthetic musks that make your clothes smell clean accumulate in human tissue. Researchers have detected them in blood, breast milk, and household dust. They don't break down, they bioaccumulate up the food chain, and they may disrupt hormone function even at low concentrations. And optical brighteners, the chemicals that make your whites appear whiter, they don't clean anything. They're fluorescent dyes that absorb UV light and emit blue light, tricking your eyes into seeing brighter fabric. They remain on your clothes, transfer to your skin, and can cause photosensitivity reactions when exposed to sunlight. Every load of laundry washes these chemicals into our waterways. And the industry has convinced you this is normal, that this is what clean smells like. It's not. Clean doesn't smell like anything. Now, let's talk about ivy. English ivy, Hedera helix, is an evergreen climbing vine native to Europe and Western Asia.
It grows aggressively, covering walls, fences, and anything else it can grip. In many parts of North America, it's considered invasive. Most people spend energy trying to remove it. They should be harvesting it. Ivy leaves contain high concentrations of saponins, natural compounds that foam when agitated in water. The word saponin comes from the Latin sapo, meaning soap. These molecules have the same dual structure as synthetic surfactants. One end attracts water, the other end attracts oil. In your washing machine, they grab onto grease and dirt, suspend it in water, and carry it away. That's the actual cleaning mechanism. Everything else in that pod is either marketing or poison. The most common saponins are soapy oregano, red maple, eastern red cedar, plants that contain high levels of natural detergents. Don't get me wrong, English ivy is also a great choice, but check out your local forest and see what wild plants you can harvest. Then there's Native American washing towers. Fizzing is an ancient native technique used to clean with acid, alkaline, or acid. Ancient civilizers used suspended sediments in natural waterways to create self-cleansing environments for clothes. Before the chemical industry standardized laundry products, people across Europe used saponin-rich plants for cleaning. Soapwort, horse chestnuts, and yes, ivy were common washing agents. Humans have been cleaning textiles with plant saponins far longer than we've been using synthetic detergents. So, here's how you make ivy leaf detergent. Start by collecting 60 to 100 ivy leaves. Choose the younger ones, the waxy, vibrant green leaves still growing upward, not the older, darker leaves lower on the vine. Younger leaves contain higher saponin concentrations. Wash the leaves thoroughly, then tear or chop them into smaller pieces. This breaks the cell walls and helps release the saponins. Place the chopped leaves in a pot and cover them with about 1 liter of water, roughly 4 cups. Let it simmer, not a full boil. Let it simmer for 20 to 15 minutes. You'll see the water changing color, becoming slightly golden or greenish. You might see some foam forming. That's the saponins releasing. Remove the pot from the heat and let it steep overnight. This expended infusion extracts the maximum amount of saponins. The next day, strain the liquid through a colander, pressing the leaves to get as much soapy liquid out as possible. What remains is your detergent, a slightly foamy, plant-based cleaning solution. Pour about 3/4 of a cup into your washing machine's detergent compartment for a standard load. Use a bit more for heavily soiled items. That's it. No pods, no plastic jugs, no ingredient lists hiding carcinogens. For an even simpler preparation, you can skip the cooking. Place a handful of torn ivy leaves directly into a mesh laundry bag or even a tied sock and toss it into the washing machine drum with your clothes. The agitation and water will extract enough saponins to clean a typical load. The leaves stay contained and you can compost them afterwards. The liquid detergent you cook keeps for about a week in the refrigerator. You can make small batches as needed or freeze portions for longer storage. Now, let's address the obvious questions. Does it actually work? Yes, saponins are legitimate surfactants with documented cleaning properties. They lift grease and suspend dirt. For everyday laundry, shirts, sheets, underwear, ivy detergent performs comparably to commercial products. It won't bleach stains or add optical brighteners, but it will clean your clothes without coating them in endocrine disruptors. Is ivy safe to handle? With precautions, yes. Some people have skin sensitivity to ivy leaves. If you're concerned, do a small skin test before handling a large batch, or just wear gloves. And this is critical. Never ever consume ivy. The plant is toxic if eaten. This is for topical laundry use only. Why don't more people know about this? Because there's no profit in it. The global laundry care market exceeds $60 billion annually. Every ivy leaf growing on a fence is money not spent on pods and jugs. The industry has spent decades convincing you that clean requires chemistry that only they can provide, and that artificial fragrance means cleanliness. This leads to a larger point. When supply chains collapse, when the trucks stop delivering pods to your local store, what happens to your hygiene? You can stockpile detergent, but those jugs eventually run out. Ivy doesn't run out. It grows faster than you could ever use it. It survives drought, thrives in shade, and spreads so aggressively that most gardeners consider it a nuisance. In any situation where industry-made goods become scarce, the person who knows how to process wild plants for basic needs has a powerful advantage. This isn't just about laundry. It's about understanding that the industrial system has inserted itself between you and basic human functions, cleaning, washing, maintaining hygiene, and has charged you for the privilege while poisoning you in the process. Your great-great-grandparents cleaned their clothes without laundry pods. They figured it out using what grew around them, and their methods worked for centuries before the chemical industry convinced everyone that progress meant trading plant compounds for petroleum derivatives.